Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I listened to the audio version. There is magic, there's adventure, there's love, and there's fear. In this tale, we come across all of these emotions and more. I'll start with a quick summary of this book. Warning, there are some spoilers. Scarlet wants nothing more than to protect her sister from their heinously abusive father. Her grandmother used to tell her stories of the magic of Caraval and its creator, Legend. So for years, Scarlet writes letters to Legend asking him to come to their island because they're not allowed to leave. But he never replies. So when Scarlet's father makes arrangements for her to be married, Scarlet gives up on Legend, writing him one last time to tell him she is getting married. Scarlet does not want to mess up this arranged marriage, because even though she may not know who the man is, in his letters he promises to take Scarlet and her sister far away from their father. Legend finally returns Scarlet's letter with 3 tickets inside for her fiancé, and her sister. Tella and Julian, a sailor who has found himself in the girl's path, kidnap Scarlet and make her go to Caraval, even though she does not want to go because she does not want to mess up the marriage that she's supposed to have in just a few days. Caraval is a 5-night game where the winner gets to have a single wish granted. Upon arrival, things already begin to go awry. Tella is kidnapped as part of the game, and the winner is the person who finds her first. Scarlet is having to work with Julian, who she doesn't trust at all, because he kidnapped her and brought her to the island. As the games get more intense, Scarlet realizes she can't trust her own senses or Julian. Adventure commences, and some truly terrifying scenarios do come to pass, including her father finding them on the island. But against all odds, and after several heartbreaking deaths, Scarlet finds Tella. And this is where the book should have ended. I really wish the author would have ended the book right after Scarlet finds Tella. Warning, more spoilers to come. I'm going to backpedal and state some glaring issues within the book. First of all, as a fantasy book with a magical system, and islands and worlds we don't know about, I wasn't informed about any of it. I can't tell you anything about the setting or the rules of magic because they weren't there. The setting I personally can care less about. I usually skip these details when I read. I'm a character-driven reader. However, the magic system has no rules. I have no idea what is allowed or what's not allowed or why things happen, how they happen, where the magic comes from, any of it. Things just happen in the books, and they happen conveniently, like passages opening or people appearing right when Scarlet needs them, or potions that she will need later are gifted to her like in a video game. This could be due to Scarlet and her guests being the special guests of Legend for personal vendetta reasons, but I felt like Legend was watching the aerial view of the Caraval game and just putting magic where she needed it, which would have been really cool, but that wasn't what happened at all. Things just happened to push the story along, and Scarlet didn't really do much. Also, there's like thousands, maybe hundreds of people in this magical scavenger hunt for Tella, and they all get clues, but no one has figured them out except for Scarlet, who has to have them almost spoon-fed to her. Like, just follow each other around and someone gives you something, and it just was not believable for me, the scavenger hunt and all those people. Now, there's a lot of deception, which I enjoyed. However, deception leads to characters' death, and when characters die, they should stay dead for the effect to really take hold. This is where I have my biggest complaint and where it becomes way too complicated at the end of an otherwise decent story.
Spoilers everywhere. Cover your ears if you must, or fast forward for the next 5 minutes. The ending. Man. In a nutshell, I'm going to give you a quick summary of the ending. So Scarlet learns that her grandmother had broken Legend's heart, and this is the reason that she was invited to the game. And so she's taking a leap of faith based off the clues that Legend has been giving her, and finds herself face to face with Legend. Here we find out that the person Scarlet has been trusting and falling in love with has been working for Legend the whole time. But he has also fallen in love with her and had tried to warn Scarlet, and Legend finds out and gets angry with him and kills him in front of Scarlet. Shocked and heartbroken, Scarlet tries to revive him, and Legend just says, "Too bad," and invites her to her sister's funeral at sunrise, handing her an invitation. As he has murdered several people throughout the game, she believes this to be true, and when he tells her where to find her sister, she doesn't hesitate and she runs to her. She finds Tella in the room, in a balcony, just relaxing, being ditzy. And Tella says, "Hey, I met someone and they're engaged and you have to meet them." And Scarlet's like, "We have to get out of here. They're trying to kill us." Well, turns out that Tella's boyfriend and fiance was Legend. Scarlet and Tella both get upset and their father arrives. Tella will not go home with her father and throws herself off the balcony. Legend makes the governor leave, which their father is the governor, makes him leave, and it's just Scarlet and Legend, and he refuses to grant her wish and leaves. So Scarlet realizes, after she chases this guy down, that he's not really Legend. He's just some random guy, one of the actors pretending to be Legend. He shows Scarlet letters between Tella and Legend, which show that Tella got the invite to Caraval in an attempt to get her and her sister away from their father for good. So at the beginning of the story, Scarlet was going to marry this man she didn't know to get them away from their father, and Tella had devised this plan with Legend to get them away from their father. Neither girl told the other girl about it because why would they communicate? But that's neither here nor there. But the bigger issue I have with this is that Tella was not portrayed as a particularly manipulative person. And we don't really see her viewpoint the entire story until the very end, and I don't really care about what she has to say because I just experienced the entire heartbreak and trauma and torture that Scarlet had gone through. So I don't care what Tella's reasoning is. I don't buy it, right? Anyways, turns out that Tella knew that Scarlet would wish her back to life. And in order to get a wish back to life, you just have to really, really want it in this world, apparently. And so Tella walks through the door and explains to her sister, like, "Hey, I'm fine. I knew you would save me. Oh, and don't worry, that guy you loved, he's alive. And all the other actors who you saw die, they're all alive." Not that big of a deal. So then they go to a party, like directly afterwards. And Scarlet has to talk to the boy, who says he hasn't aged since he became an actor and that he's Legend's brother. Okay. Explains a lot of what happens in the book at that point. Still like the twist with him. Still kind of wish he was dead because it would be better if someone actually died in this book instead of just pretended to die. But yeah, we either needed Tella's point of view throughout the story, or we needed to not hear that she orchestrated this whole thing, because I didn't believe it and I don't buy it, and I don't feel that it justified the torture that Scarlet went through, that she witnessed her sister go through. And all of a sudden she's like, "Yeah, I know you saw me throwing myself off a balcony, but just get over it." I don't know. That's just me though. There are 2 more books in this series, Legendary and Finale. Perhaps the ending that I did not like at all sets up for a beautiful story in the other 2. I can't tell you because I will not be reading them. However, there are 2 more books and they seem fairly popular. Should you read this book? Should you not read this book? Give it a try. It's not my cup of tea, but maybe it's yours.